20 years ago, the Combine, an interdimensional empire, invaded Earth. Humanity banded together and fought with everything we had. We lost in under 7 hours. Dr. Wallace Breen surrendered on behalf of humanity. As a reward, the Combine made him Earth's administrator. Because of him and other collaborators, our cities were walled off, the resistance was crushed, and the Combine began draining the Earth dry. But then came Gordon Freeman. A physicist turned revolutionary, Freeman launched an uprising in City 17. He crippled the Combine's control by destroying their nexus on Earth, the Citadel. With it went the Combine's interdimensional communication, their reinforcements, and Breen himself. Unable to contact their alien overlords, the isolated Combine cells around Earth dug in. In places like Ruha, collaborators took power, desperate to maintain control without orders from above. But the fire of revolution had been lit, and it was far too late to snuff it out now. That's where we come in. We were originally a simple resistance cell operating from the shadows of Ruha, but now we would join our brothers across the world and rise up in an open rebellion. Our goal was simple. We would free Ruha from Combine control or die trying. Now, compared to the Combine, we were pretty weak. In terms of weaponry, we were starting with basic hunting rifles. They may look strong, but don't be fooled. If you don't get a headshot, then you need to empty half your mag to kill a single Combine soldier. We were also only starting with 14 fighters, so we were outnumbered by about 100 to 1 by the local Combine garrison. But we would compensate for all that with the element of surprise. Our base of operations was an old farmstead towards the center of the region, and just 2 kilometers south of it was the town of Ojolanquila, where Ruha's overseer was passing through. With comms to the Combine homeworld knocked out, and Breen at a commission, this overseer was the highest-ranking Combine official in the region. He'd be in charge of organizing the Combine's forces when we revealed ourselves. If we killed him, would be dealing a crippling blow to the enemy. Now there was an obstacle to this plan, and it was that there was a Combine outpost in the same town. But this problem was also an opportunity. If we could take out the outpost at the same time as we assassinated the overseer, then not only would we decapitate the head of the local Combine, we'd also upgrade our weaponry significantly at the same time. So that was our plan. We'd head to Ojolanquila and split into 2 teams. One would hunt and kill the overseer, while the other would engage and distract the outpost, so that they couldn't stop our assassination. I'd be leading the hunt for the overseer, as I wanted to kill the traitor myself. While I did that, Scam, a trusted rebel, would meanwhile lead the team engaging the outpost. He'd been involved in the City 17 uprising, so I knew I could count on him. Once the Overseer was dead, we'd combine our forces and assault the outpost together. But before we leave base, I need to brief you on some intel. Our fight isn't the only one happening. In another war, Raid Shadow Legends has brought in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as legendary champions, and as someone who grew up on the 2003 series, it is a blast of nostalgia. From now until November 13th, if you log in for 7 days, you can unlock Michelangelo, then fuse with Donatello, and summon Leo, Raphael, April, and Shredder. Collect all 6 and you'll unlock a special bonus reward. And listen up, soldiers, if you deploy using my link or QR code, you'll get a starter pack with the epic champion Tayrel, Rector Drath at level 15, and 1 legendary champion by using the following code: Treehugger for Green Warden Ruark, or Get Alice for Alice the Wanderer, or Desert Queen for Tuhanarak, or Monkey King for Sun Wukong. Personally, I recommend Sun Wukong. His self-revive is a game-changer early game. But remember, you can only pick one, and only if you download through my link. So don't wait. Hit the link, scan the QR code, and download Raid now to support the channel. Now let's get back to Ruha. With our plan in mind, we loaded up into vehicles and started heading towards the town. Unfortunately, one of our Vics had a little accident before we even reached it. That minor accident aside, soon we were back on the move, and before long we'd arrived in the town. The Overseer could technically be anywhere, but we quickly spotted a scout vehicle that had been parked next to a giant metal barn. It also had a civil protection officer standing guard outside of it, so we were pretty sure the Overseer was inside. There was only one thing left for us to do.
The enemy will be in that barn. Push in, find him, and kill him. Oh shit!
The Overseer had confronted his death head-on and came out to face us, pistol in hand. I hated him for betraying mankind, but I could respect his bravery at least. Now we just had to execute his bodyguards.
No, that's not me. That's my clone, Bax O'Brien. There's another one.
Yep, we'd just been blown away. It turns out that when we opened the barn door, this guy had thrown a grenade at his feet, and none of us had seen it as we were walking in. I was face down in the dirt bleeding out, along with several of my men. Our doctor, Bonfire, was working overtime to try and patch up all the holes in our bodies. Our actions hadn't gone unnoticed, and the Combine outpost had sprung into action. Luckily, Scam's team was set up to block its path, and him and his men were engaging the Combine troops that were pouring out of it, but they were heavily outnumbered and outgunned. They'd be overrun if we couldn't assist them soon. Thankfully, Bonfire managed to patch me up enough that I woke up from my slumber.
You were bad, dude.
Let me check my own body. Oh my god.
I had 10 avulsions on my chest, but Bonfire was such an expert doctor that he'd managed to close them all up. He'd even managed to save another member of our team.
Welcome back, soldier.
2 resistance soldiers had died though, blown apart by the grenade. We had to make sure their sacrifice wasn't in vain. We needed to take the outpost.
I shall give my life for Gordon Freeman.
Freeman respects the sacrifice.
Hey, Jay, none of these people have a heart rate. You want to help?
Jesus Christ.
The situation was less than ideal. We were all laying down fire on the outpost when I got shot. I wasn't down for long, but I woke up to a very dire situation.
Oh my god, why is there a C-130 above us?
Dude, I don't know.
The Combine were sending everything they had to stop us. We had C-130s flying above us, helicopters circling the area, and head crabs coming for us.
Oh my god!
It was the head crabs.
Head crabs behind us!
Combine gunship in the air northeast? Yes, this is correct.
Can anyone see that aircraft?
Yeah, biomechanical one.
That Chinook is dropping off Combine to our northeast. What the fuck? It is so over.
This fight was no longer to our advantage, so I decided we needed to cut our losses.
There is too much QRF, we are falling back. Make your ways to any available vehicles and get the hell out of here.
We'd killed the Overseer at least. Would have to get better guns another day. I did also accidentally shoot a resistance member, who'd kitted themselves out in Combine gear for some reason.
Oh, what's that, Jane? Why do you look exactly like a Combine?
So let that be a lesson, everyone.
I'm
Don't wear
sorry.
the enemy stuff if you don't want to get shot. Anyway, I held them to our car, loaded them up, picked up Bonfire, and started driving back to base. We took a decently long detour through the woods to shake off anyone trying to follow us, and soon we were back at base. The base was too exposed though, and it was very close to the battle zone we'd just left, so if any Combine came by and investigated the massive huddled people here, they'd find our home. We had no choice but to move, for the survival of the rebellion. We chose a new, more secluded HQ location at the top left of the region, and we set off. We had to drive off-road to avoid any checkpoints, creating our own path through the dense forests. It took us a while, but it was worth it. We'd made it to the new base location unseen, and we wasted no time setting everything up. Hey, I just want to pause the video real quick to say I've got a Discord now for the YouTube channel. If you head to the description, you'll find a link to it. Also, if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to subscribe. Most of you aren't. Anyway, I'll let you get back to it. So, our first mission hadn't gone perfectly, but it hadn't been a total disaster either. We'd failed to capture the outpost, and we'd lost a few resistance members, but we'd successfully taken out the Overseer. We'd also captured a few rifles during the fighting. Not enough to equip everyone, mind you, but enough for those of us in the command team at least. So with the Overseer dead, it was time for the next stage of our plan. The first step was to split the survivors into 3 teams: blue, red, and yellow. I'd be leading yellow team. The blue and red teams had similar jobs for now. They were to deliver supplies to the local villages, which would get them to join our side and increase our manpower. They were also to scout out the local enemy positions, so that we'd have a better chance of attacking them. Those of us in the yellow team, meanwhile, would be doing another decapitation strike. With the Overseer dead, command of the Combine forces in the region would fall to the military administration in the town of Ruha. The top Combine officers would gather there and pick a new Overseer to lead them. Those of us in yellow team, therefore, had a simple mission: would head deep into enemy territory and kill everyone present at the military administration site. There was only 4 of us in yellow team, so we would be outnumbered. Luckily though, military administration sites aren't like outposts. They're nowhere near as well defended. They've got no statics or vehicles, just Combine infantry, and resistance prisoners that are brought in for advanced interrogations. In other words, even with just 4 men, we still had a real chance of taking out all the Combine present. We'd also be able to rescue some local resistance members who'd be able to join our cause and swell our numbers. So with our goal in mind, we loaded up and headed towards the town of Ruha. It was a long drive, but luckily an uneventful one. The Combine were still disorganized after the stunt we pulled in Ajalankila, and had all their forces concentrated there. Some of the outposts we drove by were completely empty because of it.
Why are all these places empty?
When we did reach the town of Ruha, though, the Combine guards there were on high alert and shot at us immediately.
Dismount! Combine behind us!
We'd done good so far, and managed to fight our way into the administration building. I found some of the Combine's prisoners and started freeing them.
More at the supermarket.
Oh no! I killed him! Stefano!
My rash actions had led to the death of one of the prisoners. If only I'd waited until we cleared the surroundings, he wouldn't have been caught in the crossfire. But there was no time to mourn him. There was more Combine to kill first. The sniper on the second floor was the last enemy here. We'd killed every Combine officer on the premises. We had no time to waste. We quickly looted all the weaponry we could find, loaded them into different vehicles, and drove back to base. The mission had been a stunning success. We'd first killed Ruha's overseer, and now we'd killed every other senior Combine officer in the region. With the Combine's local administration dead, and with some new manpower from our prisoner rescue mission, we decided it was time to start carving out some territory. While those of us in Yellow Team had been doing our little assassination missions, the other 2 teams had been doing recon, and they'd come up with some good intel. We had 3 big threats on our side of the map. The Combine military base that was southeast of our HQ, and the 2 outposts around it. The rest of the locations, such as the factory or resource points, would be speed bumps compared to the outpost and military base. So our plan was simple. We'd launch a full-scale assault on the northern outpost, then would capture the factory to its north. After that, we'd strike east, taking the outpost on the main road and the resource point to its north and south. And finally, once we'd encircled the military base, we'd attack it head-on and seize it for the resistance. If we pulled this off, we'd be one step closer to liberating the entire region and making Freeman proud. We gathered the entire resistance and we set off towards our objective. Our attack plan was pretty simple. We'd use the forest to approach the outpost from the north and overwhelm it by rushing into CQC. Our plan didn't account for the fact that the enemy had a Strider, though.
There's a fucking Strider.
There's a Strider in the outpost?
It's on top of us.
Oh, I fucking see it. Okay. Jesus.
Striders are essentially the Combine's version of an IFV. They're 3-legged robots that have a pulse minigun and a warp cannon. This Strider had been patrolling right in Red Team's path and had essentially wiped them out. Half of Red Team was dead, and the other half was having to hide from the monster. We had one advantage over this metal beast, and it's that its pathfinding was a bit broken. Something about being in the forest with the trees was making it walk in circles.
Stop acting like you know the way ahead, like you know the rules. There are no rules, man. We're lost.
No.
We took advantage of its confusion to storm into the base before it engaged the rest of us.
Is that a bomb? Why do you always do that, soldier? It's always you!
With the base's garrison dead, we quickly looted any anti-tank we could find.
Is there any AT in the box?
There was also an ASV in the outpost, an armored car that had a grenade launcher on it. We managed some men into it and had it engage the Strider. We were going to use everything we could to take it down.
Good hit! For Freeman!
The Strider was dead, and the outpost was ours. The Combine sent a light counterattack to try and take it back, but we defeated it pretty easily. Without the military administration coordinating their efforts, the local Combine commanders would never fully support each other, and so made for easy pickings. And so, with our first objective captured, our forces split up once more. Those of us in Yellow Team stayed behind at the outpost, and gathered up all the loot, since we needed to bring it back to HQ. The Red Team members had been badly hurt by the Strider, but they were still up for a fight, so we sent them to capture the factory point to our north.
No, please, I just work here.
And finally, the Blue Team under Scam was essentially unharmed, so we sent them ahead to capture the next outpost. According to our recon, that outpost was less defended than the one we'd just taken, and speed was still of the essence here. We had to capture as much as possible before the Combine got their heads out of the ground and organized a proper counterattack. Anyway, once those of us in Yellow Team had returned the loot back to base, and grabbed some new guns to test out, we rushed in to help with the outpost assault. Now, we were a bit late to the party. Scam's team had already secured the place. The only real thing left to do was to plant our flag. Well, that wasn't exactly the only thing left to do, as right outside of the base, a civil protection officer had surrendered. Instead of taking him in, I just decided to pass Gordon's judgment on him then and there. Now, while I was busy doing that, the counterattack on the outpost had already begun. The Combine had sent headcrab shells into it, so we had to kill them before they could latch onto our members and become a real problem.
Oh my god, it's a literal zombie.
Then the air attack came, just like with the Overseer. Unfortunately for the Combine, though, this time we were ready for them.
Gentlemen, prepare to defend it! Holy shit! You got it!
With their aircraft dead, the counterattack was stopped dead in its tracks. We'd taken yet another location and expanded our territory once more. By this point, Red Team had captured the factory, so we tasked them with taking both resource points. The rest of the resistance would meanwhile attack the military base. Now, the military base would be our biggest challenge yet. It was heavily garrisoned, had turrets aiming in every direction, and was also in the middle of a field. It also had 2 Striders patrolling around it, which would make a frontal assault almost impossible. Now, none of us were Gordon Freeman. We couldn't run around and take the base down single-handedly. Luckily, though, we didn't need to be. Instead, we could let Gordon guide us and rely on our teamwork. After all, we'd captured a lot of AT over the course of our assaults, and now was going to be the time to use them. So here's the plan we came up with. Scam's team was the biggest resistance team, and so would be tasked with taking down the Striders. His team would enter the forest here, dismount from their vehicles around here, and then make their way on foot all the way to here. Once they were south of the base, they'd set up some trenches in the forest, and use their Titan AT launchers to try and take out 2 Striders simultaneously. The rest of the team would also engage the base, drawing its attention. While they did that, those of us in the Yellow Team would be on standby here, just north of the base. Once the fighting started, we'd rush in with our vehicle while the Combine was focused on Scam's team, and would drive right into one of the ditches that surrounded the base. We'd then use the ditch's low ground to get right into the base and clear it out. Now, the Combine had a radio tower at the center of the base that would disrupt our comms once we got close, so we wouldn't be able to communicate with each other once the attack started. We'd just have to improvise, and hope each other's teams could adapt. Anyway, with the plan ready, we set out. Those of us in Yellow Team were waiting for a while, but eventually we heard the shots. We drove straight towards the base.
This is as good as it's gonna get. Dismount. We got enemies east. Let's engage them. One of the Striders is still alive.
One of the Striders was still up. Its twin had successfully been taken out, but this one must have either tanked the shots or taken out the AT team. Still, we couldn't abandon our mission. If we did, we'd be condemning all of Blue Team to die. Instead, we pressed forward, keeping our heads low to avoid being spotted by the metal monster.
Shit, it's headed towards us. Just keep following the ditch. Oh, Cascade! I'm sorry! Sorry about that. I'm bandaging your chest.
With the outside patrols dead, we rushed into the base.
Ow!
One of Blue Team's members was down right at our entrance point. A brave soldier had been shot in the chest. I wasn't gonna let him die in this godforsaken place, so I started treating him.
Oh my god. Oh no. Look at me, soldier. The people need you. They need the Diamond Dogs Antistasi Part 2 video.
While I was treating Soldier, one of our men found some extra AT in the base and used it to take down the last Strider. I was meanwhile slapping Soldier so he'd wake up.
How many times do I need to smack you? There you go.
I live.
Now by this point, the base was essentially empty. The rest of our soldiers had cleared out all the Combine. That didn't mean we were out of the woods yet though, since the Combine would want to take this place back.
C-130 in the air above us.
The C-130 flying over our head was the first sign of a counterattack, but one of our men shot it down
One hit.
before it could paradrop anyone.
Second hit. It's down. Good job.
Surprisingly, that was the only counterattack we faced. The enemy had been much less garrisoned than we'd expected, and a light air assault was all they could muster to take it back. Our decapitation strikes must have been a lot more successful than we'd given them credit for. Anyway, with the base under our control, the entire Northwest was firmly in the Resistance's hands. Freeman had guided our crowbars, and soon all of Ruha would be free. Don't forget to download Raid Shadow Legends right now using my links to get some insane bonuses, including 2 epic champions and 1 legendary one. Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry for the long wait. I promise the next one will be out much quicker. As usual, a special thank you to all my channel members. You guys help make this possible. I'll see you all in the next video, which will be out a lot quicker than this one.
Oh shit!